Ladies and gentlemen, so in today's video, we are going to be talking about 4 of the best dividend stocks to create that passive income, baby. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you guys get anything in value out of this, hit that like button, subscribe. If you guys are new to the channel, we talk about everything money, stocks, money management, trading, investing. So subscribe, join the team. Let's jump into stock number 1. Let's go. All right, so stock number 1 is a dividend goat. It's a dividend powerhouse as well as a dividend king. So it's been paying a dividend for more than 50 years consecutively and increasing that dividend payout. It's the one, the only Coca-Cola. Now, a lot of people think of Coca-Cola as this massive beverage company because it is, but actually a lot of people don't realize it's actually a distribution company. You have to realize all of the party stores, the stores that Coca-Cola is in, Coca-Cola is behind all of that, and they have the largest fleeting company ever. And with that being said, the fundamentals on this thing are fantastic. We've seen increasing revenue, increasing cash on hand, increasing profit margin, all this stuff that is a good indication that this trend is going to continue. Now, on the dividend side, this thing is an absolute no-brainer. It offers a 3% dividend yield, which is relatively solid. That's about 46 cents every single quarter. So every quarter, you guys can count on that cash flow coming into your account. Now, with that being said, the dividends on this thing are absolutely beautiful, but the growth is okay, right? You'll still find better options elsewhere for growth, but for me, for cash flow, for passive income, this thing's great. In the past 5 years, it's offered about a 32% return on the growth side, so you'll still get some solid growth out of this, but just comparing to the S&P 500, that has done a lot better. But honestly, I'm not complaining because you'll get better cash flow and passive income with Coke. All right, moving on to stock number 2. Before we jump into that, hit that like button, subscribe. So let's move on to pick number 2. All right, so pick number 2 is the one, the only Home Depot. Now, Home Depot for me is a fantastic company. Now, the reason why I love it is they have over $1.2 billion in cash. So if they ever go through a hard time, they can use some of that cash to continue to pay their investors their dividends, and they can use that to continue to grow the business. But with that being said, the dividend yield on this is relatively solid, coming in at around 2.5% or about $8.36 per year. Now, this one here, Coca-Cola does pay a better dividend at 3%, but the growth on this thing is a lot better. So you'll get better appreciation with Home Depot. In the past year, Home Depot has had a return near and around 6%, but in the past 5 years, it's had a return of 68%. Comparing to Coca-Cola, the past 5 years was at 32%, so you'll get a lot better growth out of this. But overall, Home Depot is a fantastic company. Do you guys think we're ever going to get rid of plumbing, electrical, lumber, HVAC, all that stuff people need, and they have to have a store and a retail store that does that stuff? So Home Depot for me is an absolute no-brainer investment, and you can't go wrong buying some. All right, moving on to the third company here. This one here is another retail powerhouse. It's the one, the only Costco. Now, Costco has over $13 billion in cash. Comparing that to Home Depot with only $1 billion, this one here has so much cash, and they have very little debt, near and around $6 billion, so they have way more cash on hand than long-term debt. So if they ever go through a hard time, they can continue to use that cash, pay off their debt, pay off their investors, and do whatever they want to do. Now, the dividend on this is a little lower than some of the other ones, but you'll get a lot better growth. In the past year, this thing has had a return near and around 24%, beating all of the other companies, Home Depot and Coca-Cola. But the issue that Costco faces, it's just a lower dividend, near and around 1%, or $4.08 per year. Now, the reason I love Costco as a dividend stock is a little different, is because Costco in the past has had a tendency of paying something called a special dividend. In the past, they paid dividends upwards of $7 per share, and that's absolutely crazy, plus the normal dividends they pay out. But overall, that is still a special occasion. So for me, I believe that Costco is a great company for growth and that appreciation and that cash flow and that passive income. You can't go wrong with investing in it. Also, we've seen some solid fundamentals such as increasing revenue, increasing cash flow, and increasing cash on hand, which is always a good indication that this trend is going to continue, so you don't have to be worried about the future. All right, so moving on to the fourth and final company here. This one here is the one, the only Realty Income Corp. Farr. Now, the reason I love this one so much is one, it's like investing into real estate. This company, they go out and buy different real estate properties as the tenants pay their lease or their rent. You guys get a little bit of that cash in dividends. The beauty of this one here is you get a 5% dividend yield, so you'll get a way higher dividend yield than all the other ones, and they pay this on a monthly basis, which is way different than a lot of the other ones. They pay on a quarterly basis, so you can count on cash flow coming in every single month with this one. Now, the reason I love REITs so much is because by law, they have to pay their investors 90% of the cash flow they bring in, which is great. So you can always count on solid dividends coming in every single month. Now, this one here definitely has a lot lower growth, like appreciation, but where it makes up for it is the dividend yield and the dividend and cash flow. In the past 5 years, it's only had a return near and around 7%, but you have to understand that's just 7%. You have to count the cash flow, the dividends, and all that stuff, and 7%, you're still making money. So guys, these were the top 4 dividend companies that I would highly recommend for passive income. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. And guys, one last tip, anytime you invest into dividend companies, make sure you guys have a broker that offers DRIP, which is the dividend reinvesting. All the dividends you get starting out, you want to reinvest them back into the companies to grow those dividends larger. You guys can clearly see the difference between reinvesting your dividends and not reinvesting your dividends. So my recommendation is to reinvest those dividends and just relax, invest, dollar cost average, and you guys will be all right. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. And guys, this is just my opinion, so do your own research before you invest, but we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.